Hello everybody, my name is Jay Walkie. Welcome to my channel Warhammer Gaming, and today we're going to be playing some Total War Warhammer. Now I was thinking of doing a new series of videos, and I figured with the release of the Call of the Beastmen DLC in just over a day's time, I would start a new campaign, and probably going to go with the vampire counts. I'm running a few mods on the game, things that affect the battle, the UI. I've got a formations mod which I heavily recommend. It's on the Steam Workshop, you can find it quite easily there. Basically allows your units, sort of mid to high tier infantry and cavalry units, use things like wedge formations, diamond formation, and phalanx or wall formation, which increases obviously your defense heavily and reduces speed and attack and things like that. Very useful for units like Grave Guards. I've got another mod called More Law-Friendly Necromancy, which I also heavily recommend. Basically makes it so that, because obviously with the vampire counts, their units, especially the skeletons and zombies and all that sort of stuff, crumble rather than lose morale, right? So they don't really rout, they just crumble. But what this mod does is takes away their morale entirely, takes away this crumbling thing, and basically replaces it with a system wherein if your lord dies, your entire army crumbles at the same time, but other than that, you have no morale whatsoever, because they're undead, they're skeletons and zombies, they wouldn't feel fear. So that felt, kind of reasonable to me. It makes your gameplay a little bit more interesting, varies it up a bit. So let's jump right into it now. Going to be picking Manfred von Carstein straight off the bat, because, to be honest, I love the Vargulf. Possibly my favourite, if not one of the few favourites of the units for the vampire counts for me. So let's jump straight in. I just love their squishy little noses.
War is eternal. As inevitable as the grave. The old world, the rotting corpse within. Some fools think it worth saving. But there are beings who wish to bring about an eternal night. I am a bearer of law to those with such power. Of the von Carstein bloodline. My master, Manfred, has returned from the dead once more. He marches on the von Carstein ancestral pile of Castle Dragonhof. For I have brought him ill news that a master necromancer has claimed the fortress as his own. Manfred must retake his ancient stronghold, and either destroy the usurper within, or bind him to his will.
Okay, and it's on. This is another mod that I have, provides some sort of more vibrant, interesting, varied loading screen backgrounds. I have to be honest, I've really enjoyed playing this game as well. I just realized it was dead silent, so I should probably be saying something at this point. I've really been enjoying this game, and that's one of the main reasons I don't mind too much paying for these DLCs. Obviously, I didn't buy the Blood for the Blood God one because, dear Lord, what a horrid piece of shit. Why would you even bother buying something like that? It doesn't matter what the price is, you know. It just seems strange to me that they would even release something like that, especially when there are workshop mods that do that same thing but do it better. I've heard a lot of really bad things about that Blood for the Blood God DLC, but you know, it was worth getting the Chaos race. I really enjoy playing Chaos. Luckily, they included it in the price when the release. Oh, here we go. When the main release was out.
Drakenhof is back in your hands, my unliving sire. Yet you have many enemies, both living and dead.
Yes, yes.
Who balk at the threat of a von Carstein reigning from his ancestral stronghold. Much needs to be done. The Tempelhof brood control the lands to the north, as far as the River Ster. Conflict with them is inevitable, but your will is indomitable. Take their lands, burn their crypts, and deploy their own dead against them. The high mountains to the south are infested with dwarfs. Your homelands will never be safe with such an enemy so close. Make plans to drive their stunted kind out in time. Greatness runs throughout the von Carstein bloodline, my lord. Glory shall be yours, if you are ambitious enough to seize it.
Damn straight I am. Though he's obviously our token advisor. Got our first mission. We have to defeat an enemy belonging to an army, sorry, belonging to these guys. The first thing I'm actually going to do is lock myself away in my castle. Begin building some things to promote growth. The charnel pit is something that I often start with. Obviously, until I take Eschen and Waldenhof, I'll basically be using them as my growth and income centers, and then Drakenhof for my recruiting for the time being. So I want to get to these guys as quickly as possible, the Graveguard, because they are actually able to use the formation mod that I have. So I'm going to pop that right on there and build us a charnel pit so we can start upgrading our main settlement. As for the armies, we are going to need to see what we have to recruit. Let's raise 2... This is a nifty little feature of the Vampire Lord race. You can raise units in certain areas that have corpses, so it's a really good idea. For example, post-battle, regardless of your post-battle choice, whether you choose to, you know, enslave the enemies or kill them all or whatever, or your captives, it will show this little hand symbol with the plus sign here, the little skeleton hand coming up out of the ground, and that basically means that you can raise dead in that area. And certain areas, especially post-battle areas, have a bonus to the amount and the types of units that you can raise and things like that, depending on your local recruitment abilities and things like that as well. You know what, let's raise one of them as well. And then we're going to recruit. This is another mod that I have that is really damn useful. They work really well. The skeleton archers, basically the undead don't have an archery unit, so we're going to go ahead and pop 4 of them into the army, and then another set of skeleton warriors, and that pretty much gets rid of all our cash for this turn. Let's go ahead and start some research as well, the Book of Arcan, as I'll be using a lot of skeletons, I believe. And the next quickest thing that I want to do really as well, so I want to get my army built up as quickly as possible as well. I've had really bad situations in campaigns before where I've basically gone and attacked, say, this army here, and then this one rocks up, and then a third one rocks up, and I just get decimated. So, you have to be careful with the Vampire Lords in early game, because they, you know, the units aren't very tough. Other than the Vargulf, but I mean, you've only got one of him, and that's only if you start with Manfred von Carstein as well. So we're just going to build up our army a little bit. We've got our research going, got our building going, and once we've beefed up our army, hopefully maybe even put some grave guards into our army, we can attack these guys over here and then take Eschen and Waldenhof as soon as we've made sure that there's no army around to protect them other than the garrison units. I'm going to be sort of explaining things as I go through as well, just for, you know, anyone who is keen on playing any of the Total War series games. Obviously this one has quite a few differences to the prior releases. Oh, is that so? Is that how it's going to be then? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, it seems something very unexpected has happened. These guys have just, Tempelhof have just come across and are attacking my main settlement before I could even recruit anything. So, what we're going to do is, considering he can't bring that army across straight away,
Destruction.
we're going to defeat this army outright. We've got our garrison units here, of which we actually have grave guards. That's good. So obviously we, as you can see from this bar here, the balance of power, the yellow is you, the red is the enemy. Depending on which side it goes to, that signifies which army has the greater power and which will most likely win if you auto-resolve. Decisive victory. No surprise there. It also helps that we are inside a walled settlement and they have no siege units at all. So Manfred's gained a rank. We're going to... You know what, let's up our leadership a bit because we are garrisoned at the moment, so our Vargul should heal up nicely. So those are basically just little missions that pop up along the way through the campaign. These are the missions and quests here, this button here. And it's basically just to keep you rolling along and keep you moving and expanding all the time, because that is what the game's about. It stops you from getting stagnant. Yes, yes, that's this guy here, is it? No, that's Zelig. That's Dieter. Oh, is it the dwarves? Elric, get gold. Okay, decisive victory. He's become level 2. Under siege. This is your character page here, basically, where you can click all your click on all your different lords and heroes and upgrade them. We're going to give him, to begin with, Restless Dead. Gives him some extra campaign movement, and you know, we're going to start with some Undying Horde, some casualty replenishment rate, I think. The Darkling Skies is really good, but it doesn't really matter until you get out of your territory. So, until we've taken Eschen and Waldenhof, I don't think I'm going to bother with that one just yet.
I hunt.
Okay, so let's try that again, shall we? Okay, so he's our 4th Skeleton Warriors unit. We've still got to wait 2 turns for this to happen, and they're probably going to attack us again, so let's go ahead and see if I can't recruit these archer units again. I think we can leave it there for now. So there's obviously going to be a lot of new cool things coming along with the Beastmen DLC. I assume and I hope that eventually they're going to be bringing out the Elvish races and, you know, maybe even Skaven and just the ridiculous amount you could do with the content of this game. I mean, it's the Warhammer universe. It's massive, you know. The storyline doesn't matter so much because it's just a generic, oh, you have come back to claim, you know, to reclaim your lands and expand and defeat other armies and blah, 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 blah. So it's basically like an insert generic advisor here kind of thing going on with the campaign and the cinematics. But that's alright. Got all my skeleton archers now. Well, three units of them. We'll wait for that fourth one to pop up. I mean, look. Nope, didn't mean to do that. I'm going to disband the Fellbats. Leave a bit of room for some Grave Guard. I should be able to fit in 4 units of Grave Guards. Oh, no, I can't yet, sorry. With the, I still need to wait for the Ancient Armory. I keep forgetting about that. And that's still another couple of levels away, but that's okay. We'll get rid of the Fellbats. It'll leave that room for them in the near future. So yeah, there'll be a lot of new things coming with this Beastmen DLC. New functionality in the campaign, new functionality in combat. They're very different to... Well, they're very similar to Chaos in that they have Horde mentality. So they have Horde functionality going on. They carry their buildings with them, as they explain it. So we've got our Barrow and our Charnel Pit now. But unlike the Chaos, they actually don't suffer attrition from infighting when the Hordes are near one another, which is really, really useful. I'm happy to see something like that come into it. We're going to go ahead and up our growth once more, because we want to be able to get to the Shady Township as quickly as possible. Let's see here. So once I get the... this upgraded, our main settlement upgraded, we are looking to build this sucker here, the Ancient Armory. So we're going to save our money for now, because we want to obviously save up for that. And we've got some new research to do. Bond of Bones. Gives you plus 10% speed for missile infantry units, upkeep minus 5%, and recruitment cost, pardon me, minus 10%. Obviously, as I said, I'm going to be working a lot with skeletons, getting the Grave Guards and Black Knights going for my little army here. There's also another really interesting mod that I did want to check out. I'm just not too sure about it, how you know, the quality of the mod, how effective and how good the actual mod will be, but it actually adds siege units because the undead don't have siege units initially. So it adds just some basic catapult units into your recruitment inventory, so to speak. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to move out. Maybe make a move on Eschen.
All die.
It's not a walled settlement.
None shall live.
Let's see, but I will be fighting him and the garrison. This could have been a very bad decision. I probably should have waited for some more soldiers, but that's okay. If I encircle, I'm pretty sure their third army is going to come up on me. Let's just auto-resolve and see what happens. Close defeat. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I have been struck down in my youth by a minuscule army in a minor settlement. Okay, we're going to have to get him back there as quickly as possible then. That's okay, you know, I can do this as well. I'm going to just beef up my army a little bit. This basically just means that if I do get attacked while out on the road and while not in such a good condition, I've lost my Vargulf now. That's okay, you know what? This makes shit interesting. This makes shit very interesting. So I'm going to end my turn there. And I'm probably going to get attacked by 3 armies at the same time now. Or 2, rather. The Eschen garrison won't be attacking me. They are regrouping, though. Orcs are coming! So, that's going to be interesting.
Yes.
Let's get my guys back into the settlement before I get eaten alive again. Nothing to raise, really. Okay, so I've got my Grave Guards sort of available now. They're just sitting there in the recruitment options. I cannot get them, though, until I upgrade both my settlement, main settlement here, which I will be able to do soon. Once this finishes constructing, I'll be able to get my growth surplus up a lot quicker and get to the Shady Township. And I can get my Graveguard going on.
Ready.
Look, they were going to attack me again eventually. It's just a matter of time, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and get another 2 units of archers. And 3 units of skeleton spearmen. And that'll max out my army now. And give me some units with a little bit more strength. Their defense is 20, or their armor rather. Basically just a sort of a varied upgrade to the skeleton warriors, and it'll just allow me to mount a bit more of an effective defense, hopefully. Obviously more units is never a bad thing. What are you up to over there? Well, that was always going to happen. So the orcs are obviously moving up through the Dwarven Mountains now. Probably coming across from the right here. Okay, so we've got our full army. We've still got 2 more units that need to come forward. That's still got 1 turn to go. Let's go ahead and skip the next turn again. Skip over to the next turn, rather. That's a shame. I'm really quite sad I lost my little Vargulf. Oh, what's going on here?
It shall be mine to command.
Okay, non-aggression pact. Yeah, why not? It's, you know, it's fine to go ahead and break packs and things like that and expand when you need to expand. Yeah, I'm getting to it. I don't have a turn limit for that, do I? No, good. I do for Waldenhof though, so I've got to get Eschen quickly. Within the next, say, 3 or 4 turns, if not less. We've got our growth up now, which is good. Our 2nd level of the Charnel Pit's done. Or the Lich Yard, rather.
I grow impatient.
You know what, I really don't want to fight 3 armies, but they are beefing themselves up quite heavily at this stage. I think I'm going to have to go ahead and raise a secondary army already. My income is still pretty good at this stage. It's still quite early on. Let's see what we've got to choose from here. Let's go another Von Carstein there. Reginald. Another warrior. The Vampire Lord. Yes, it does. And we are going to give him some spear units. And some archers to begin with. Oh, unassigned skill point. This is something I always forget about. Always forget to do it. It's a good thing it reminds me before the end of each turn. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and open up this line of skills. And put another point into replenishment. And I think that's us for this turn. I'm really sort of getting a bit concerned about Tempelhof now. They seem to be a lot more aggressive than they normally are in this playthrough. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, so we've got all our skeleton spearmen now.
My bloodline calls.
He's still got to get his archers ready.
Impress.
Go to the next turn. Oh, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen. It would seem the war has begun. Now that is interesting. It doesn't appear to be letting me use Manfred's army. You know what? Not worth it. Not worth losing a lord this early. They will still attack that, though. At least they backed off.
Welcome to my realm. Let no man.
Trade agreement. I could deal with that. I think I'm going to go for recruitment surplus. At this stage, I need as many units as possible, and I need it to be as cheap as possible, obviously. Go ahead and put him back in here. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do.
Yes. Going.
Okay, that means I'm going to have to move Manfred out of here.
This better be
There we go.
important.
Okay. I'm going to have him come up over to this side
I'll take
and just block this guy off a little bit.
Darts macabre.
Going to have these guys recruit. What has he got? Oh, almost nothing. Okay. I think this is the time to take his army out. I'm going to set this army to re-recruit those archers to begin with. I've got those 4 slots now. There's 4 recruitment slots. So that's quite useful. And I'm going to attack this bastard right here. I'm also going to leave the episode right here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I'm just going to keep these videos to around 25 or so minutes. Makes it a lot easier that I can pause the game and save it wherever I want. So, yes, we're going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. There's plenty more on my channel over at Vorpal Gaming. I've got the Alien Isolation series going at the moment. I've got another series which I haven't done any videos on in a little while, Lichten Battle Mage, but I will get onto that. And when we come back, I'm going to be facing off with this Tempelhof army and pray that this one doesn't come down on top of me at the same time. But thank you again for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This is my channel, Vorpal Gaming. Please subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it, spread me around like some kind of horrible disease. And I will see you in the next episode.